Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to the stream, welcome to another video. Another video working on this guy right here. That's our Fury tank. So, just a sec. Hey Maestro, hit that music for me. Alright guys, like I said, welcome to the channel. We're going to get started working on this thing again. Well, as you can tell by the last video, I'm not really a huge fan of photo etch parts. And I think for me anyway, personally, they tend to be a little bit more frustrating than rewarding. At least in this particular kit, this particular ones from Edward, I don't see them, so far I don't see them adding that much detail to make them worth the effort. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. For example, let me change the camera for you and I'm going to show you here what kind of an example what I mean, okay? So we go to our overhead cam here. Now remember I was fiddling around with our hatches and I put those little grab handles on there, okay? Now, oops, go back here. I have since removed those photo etch grab handles and put the kit parts on there. Why did I put the kit parts on there? Well, because in the grand scheme of things, I can actually see these. The photo etch ones were so small that, yeah, okay, so maybe they're to scale as far as what they should be in their size, but you can't see them. I'd rather be able to see them. The other thing, case in point, is our little bucket or whatever this thing is called, that's going to sit on the back. I think it's on the back of the tank itself, not the back of the turret, but on the back of the hull. I think it sits back here, something like this, right? This guy compared to the photo etched one. The photo etch doesn't really add anything other than making it super thin instead of having the thickness of plastic. That's really the only thing I'm getting from it. Now that being said, I did use the photo etch little bracing on the sides here, because those do actually add something to it, because the kit part is kind of thick, and so something like that actually does add to it and makes it worthwhile putting those things on there. Okay, so something like that, yes, I'll definitely do. Something like this, not really worth it. In fact, the hinges on the inside of this that are kind of etched detail in here, once that's painted, that detail is going to disappear. Whereas on the kit part, this is molded in. We've got a molded in hinge that's going to be there. You're going to be able to see that once that's painted. So I actually prefer that. Now that being said, there are other kits I have used photo etch on other kits and it's come out perfectly. Things like engine cover meshes and things like that, and railings. Yes, definitely photo etch, awesome. But so far in this kit, the only things that have really been worth it for me, I got the little grab handles that are on the engine deck here. I put those on there, so those are there, and those work. That's fine. So let's get into it, right? Like, okay, I'm just going on about photo etch. Let's get back to actually doing the kit and putting the kit together. Okay, so let me get my instructions out over here. Okay, I'll change the camera and we can kind of see what's next here. Okay, so we did the fenders. We got the fenders put on the upper hull. That's all done right here. Fenders are on here and here, all nice and good. Remember, I did a little bit of damage on the front of these fenders to give them a little bit of worn in metal-ish look. Got the little pieces on the sides there. Okay, that's all good. That's done. Then we did our little hatches, okay? And we got those sitting here. So let's flip the page. Looks like we got a couple of details. We got some upper hull parts. It looks like some kind of spotlight, or I'm not sure what that is. Some kind of an horn, and then we got a light. So let's grab those off of our L tree. Let's find our L tree here. There we go. L. Actually, I'm gonna change my glasses here real quick. Okay. So we want L13 and L15. That's the first two here. That's these two little guys here. One, two. Small little guys. They go together. That, and I want to grab my tweezers. Like that, and I want some thin set. This almost looks like a megaphone or something, which very well could be. I don't know. That's that guy. And then we got to take L28, which is right here. Looks like we got two of them. Let's see. So we're going to call that B. In the book, we call it B. Okay, I'll show you here. This one is A. This one's B. And then they just show you here B, A, and B. So we're going to do two B's. So that's two lights. And that explains why we've got two L28s. It's one and two. Okay. Alright. So we're going to take our two lights. If I hadn't looked at the picture first, I would have been tempted to snip this off, thinking that's like an extra little bud on there, but it's supposed to be there. So we got N3. N, I think, was the clear sprue. Yes. So we're going to put clear in there. So we got to put some chrome on the middle of this, because, well, that's what they did. I'm going to use my Molotow chrome, Molotow liquid chrome. This is the chromiest chrome I've ever chromed. So, I think that's shaken up enough. I'm going to get a little brush. There we go. Good enough. And at the end of the day, this really isn't going to show very much. You're not really going to see too much of this. Basically doing this to say I tried to do chrome in there as best I could. So once I get this thing painted, well, the chrome on our inside of our lights is not really going to be seen. And in fact, you know what? Headlights on tanks, they're pretty dirty. And so, come on, there we go. Clean my brush, and we'll move on. Okay, so we need N number 3, Okay. Now the fun part. I used to try and, put glue on the part first and then put the parts together, and I'd get all kinds of glue in spots that I don't want it. Then Tamiya Extra Thin came around and changed my life. With its capillary action, it only goes into the cracks. It stays on the edges, and it works fantastically. Of course, it doesn't hurt that the clear fits perfectly into its little slot. That's always a nice bonus. Being careful just to go on the edge. It is quite easy to get glue where you don't want it. There we go. Okay, those are done. Next we have to do some parts on our engine deck here. So we got to grab A32, which looks like a latch, and then K40 and K22. So let's grab our A tree. So we're going to start working with this guy. Okay. K tree, I'll just keep that out of the box. And then we need A right here. Okay, so we need A32, 24, 6, 7, 8, 29. Where are you, 32? Way back over here. Okay, so that's A32. And he's going to go on right there. So, grab this glue. Just like that. Now, as I just determined, I need to be careful with my little latches, my little handle grab bars, because I just accidentally touched that one and knocked it over. They are delicate. So I'll deal with that in a minute. So I got to grab K22 and K40. Here's 40. And I need 22. There's 21. I want 22. Looks like an axe. Actually looks like a sledgehammer. There we go. Okay. Now, my knife. To clean up the nubs. Now, these pieces are a couple of things that, you could deal with the photo etch and make these look a little more realistic. This has an extra little nub on here to get rid of, which Tamiya even points out in the instructions. Okay, so let's refer to our photo etch instructions and see what we're supposed to do with these. For the K22, we're supposed to add a latch that goes around in the middle here and add this, number 51, onto the end, and then add this piece by cutting off a piece on this. I don't think that's worth it. I don't mind adding a latch. It looks like maybe they want us to remove this section here, but there's no red spot. Normally they want you to remove something, like they do on this one. They want you to remove that little square block and replace it with another 51 here that's been folded like that, and then 52 is this latch. I'll take a look at 52 and I'll see what's going on. What does that part look like on the photo etch? Number 52 on the photo etch. I don't want these guys rolling away on me somewhere where I'm going to lose them, so I'm going to put them down over here. Okay. 52 are these guys here. Let's just take one of these off. See what we're dealing with. So that's that. Okay. So basically they want this folded around. Like this. Actually loop it through. That's what it looks like on here. Like it's been latched. Well, I could try and do that. Like I've mentioned before, I'm not a surgeon, and actually looping that around, trying to get that through on the kit part. If I just do this, I might be able to work my way. See, a lot of this is easier said than done. Like I've said, sometimes the amount of headache caused in the end is not worth it. Seem to do kind of okay when it comes to seat belts on cockpits. I think I got it. So that's on there now. Let's see if I can do the same with another one here. See if I'm just as fortunate. I'm going to see if I can kind of get it started before actually putting it on. Almost there. Got it. Okay, now it's got to go on this one. This one is a little bigger, but if I can convince it to get over that initial strap, I don't think I'm going to be able to. This initial strap is just a little too big. So it's kind of like, well, if it comes undone, it comes undone. I need to get it over that. There we go. Now to get it back together. Okay, I think I got it. At least to a point where it's reasonable. I just need you on the right side. There we go. Okay, so we've got our straps, our latches, whatever you want to call them. Now, where do they go on here? Let's see. This guy's going to go in that hole and that hole respectively. So what I want to do is I'm going to have the latch on the proper side. Right there. And I'll glue it first. So I need some CA glue. My CA glue keeps drying up on me. Or should I say the tip of my CA glue keeps drying up on me. So I don't think my lid actually closes down solid anymore, and that's why I'm getting air in the tip, and that's why it's drying. Okay, where's my applicator? There we go. Alright, so this like this, I think that's a pretty good spot, kind of in the middle of it. So that's where I want it to sit. So let's just slide that into place now. That's a good spot, just like that. And then that can go into its little home. And I'll just use some thin. Let's get in there. In there. There we go. Now, our sledgehammer. Now, where did they want? See, they wanted that about halfway on the sledgehammer. And that's kind of where that strap is. So I think I'm gonna get rid of that strap, this fake one. I'll shave it down just enough that the strap can fit over it. Very carefully here. Especially the strap wanting to come and visit it. Shave this down a little bit. Particularly on the bottom where the peg is. You have to get rid of that peg. So now that strap should be able to fit right over where it was, right there. We just need the flat part of the strap facing down and not the buckle. Right now the buckle's on the bottom of it. So we need it there. And that should work. We need to do a little more finesse here. To get that where it's supposed to be. Perfect, just like that. Okay, so let's put a little CA glue right there. Get it in a spoon so it'll stay in its home. Right there. And then we're going to put some CA here so it'll stay there. Put more than I need, but that's okay. There we go. I think I got some CA on my fingers here. Oh, I touched my touched my tip there. So while I'm doing that, since I got that, I might as well redo my little handle. Since it came off. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Our engine deck with new straps and all that fun stuff. We can now put our engine deck on the upper hull. It's going to go just like this. So I'm going to see if I can get away with just gluing it on the underneath. Looks looks like I will. Make sure I got locks in there. It's a nice, good bond. I mean, to me, it's a perfect fit. There's no play in it at all. It just fits, and that's typical Tamiya. It just fits. There we go. Okay, so the engine deck is on, and we have our. We can put in our little hatches, and they're going to go in. This looks like it's a similar one to the one that's on the top of the turret. It doesn't look like Tamiya is offering the option of real hinges. They're static. They're either open or they're closed. I kind of like having the option. But if there is no option, I'm either gluing them closed or I'm gluing them open. And they show me here in the instructions, right? You either have them open or closed. If they're open, they sit like this. I don't really want to have it sitting like that. Because if they're open like that, that means then you're seeing the interior of the tank and there is no interior. So I am going to glue them closed. Which is a little unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So my hatches will be closed. For this little project I'm doing, my hatches are closed. I'm sure there are other versions of this particular tank out there where you could do them open, or they actually sit and you got a proper hinge. And what did just fall? See, I was worried about that thing falling, and sure enough it fell. I felt it kind of hit the floor, but I don't know where it is. I think it was one of my headlights that fell, and I can't see it. There it is. So the headlight is what I gotta do next. I gotta put our headlights on. Okay. Our little siren thing, whatever that is going to go right on there in the front. This guy goes right here. These are the parts that, you know, you want to have a bit of glue on them before you put them in, so that they stay in their spot where they're supposed to be. But that makes it a little tricky, especially if you don't know exactly how they're supposed to fit, right? Because they're small, test fitting is a little difficult. Straight up and down, you don't want it crooked. There we go. So there's that thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a horn or if it's a loudspeaker. Not sure what that is. Then our light is going to go on a little pedestal. So I'm going to see if I can do it by hand. And that was actually quite easy. And I got it straight up and down. One headlight in. Second headlight in. And it's straight up and down. Perfect. All right. We got two headlights, bing and bang, just like that. And our little horn thing, whatever that is. Next, we got a couple of, looks like anchor hooks off of our L tree, L7. And we got to grab this guy here. This is our, what do they call it? Turret rest. Let's see, L7 and R16. It's K and A. Here's our L. And we need R. Okay, there's our, where are you? You're another A train. Okay, so off of R, we need 16. Okay, there we go. Now, two L7s. These guys here. There we go. Okay. We have to clean these up. This piece here, this is what they put, they flip this up when they want to rest the turret. Like when it's just in travel mode, you're just traveling with no preparation of any gunfire or anything like that. They flip this up and they rest the turret in there. Or sort of say rest the barrel. Be a little more precise. Now on this kit we're just going to be gluing it down. So find the side that has the pegs. Which side is down? I think this side is down. It's going to rest this spot here like that. Kind of like that. So I can hold that down. Some thin. There and there. And then get under here. There we go. That's in place. And now our L7s are going to go into our little holes that we drilled out. So the first thing I need to do is clean these up. So our sprues don't look too great. Let's see how they fit in our little pre-drilled holes that we did. Fits pretty good. Sits in the holes perfect. Yeah. Make sure it's relatively straight. There we go. Just for added, I don't have access to it. If I hadn't put the fenders on yet, I could actually glue from the inside. Okay, let's clean up this one. See how she fits. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Now the last part we need to do, A4. We've got a whole bunch of them to go along the sides here. Okay. All along the sides in these little spots. They've got little square notches to designate where they all go. Okay. And we've got to get a bunch of them. A4. Okay. So let's have a look at those. Off of the A tree. Did I leave the A tree out? I believe I did. A4, bunch of them. Okay. Now, these are another piece that we have photo etch versions of these things. And what I did actually this morning, I grabbed one of these off of the photo etch tree and folded it up to see, does this piece actually give me any more detail than the kit part? And I think you guys would probably agree, all it does is turn it into a very thin piece of metal instead of the plastic. And I think the kit is actually, these are smaller than what you get when you fold these up and have your finished result. I'm not going to be using the photo etch because it does not, again, it doesn't add any detail to it. So let's get a few of these off of here. How am I going to need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 2 extras. I like 2 extras. That's cool. I'm going to start down here. So there's 11 off of there. Let's slide these over here. So it looks like we do have one little pin on one side and nothing on the other. So that's perfect, because that means I can line it up with the one pin there, and I don't have to worry about where it lands on the actual fender. All I got to do is line it up there and call that done. That's perfect. Of course, moving it out of where it's supposed to be when I put glue on it is not what I'm supposed to do. And I do want to kind of have it 90 degrees. So maybe let's try this method. Glue here first. That's way too much glue. Grab one. See if this method actually works. Worked a little bit better. I just didn't need so much glue in that spot. Now there actually are little notches here on the fenders to line it up to make sure you got them straight. So that's good. I feel like my brush is not getting any paint, any oil in there. I said paint, I mean oil. I mean glue. Wow. Paint, oil, glue, what am I using here? Now the extra thin that I'm using right now is actually the fast drying type, which is not really recommended if you need to take time to get things lined up, because it does dry very quickly. Okay, so I have a little bit of an alignment issue with this one. As I try and get it into its slot, it's bouncing back out of its slot and not sitting flush. So this guy's got to be a custom one. They actually do have two little pegs on each side, one on each side. This one I just need to shave the peg off of the bottom. Because he doesn't want to sit in this little hole properly. So I'll remove the peg, kind of line it up by eye, and call that close enough. I don't think these really sit in any up or down position. I don't think there's one way to be up and one to be down. I think they just sit where they sit. I just realized I hadn't looked at my chat in a while, and well, surprise, surprise, ain't nobody chatting in my chat, so, oh well. Same thing. Let's see, I'm going to try the different method. I'm going to try putting glue on there and see if he'll sit. I'll try and hold it for a second. See if he'll stay in his home with the plastic softened. Looks like he's going to stay. One more. And there we go. We have all of our fender braces in. Those are all in. Just like that. Get that in the right light. You can see them all on there. And of course, I got to do the same on the other side. But I'm not going to bore you guys by showing you that again. Let's move down and take a look at some other things we've got on this. Okay, now we have our hull facing this way. Now, they actually do show you a diagram. They are supposed to be up and down on these things. So it is possible that I have the ones that didn't want to fit, maybe I have them upside down. Maybe I fluked out and I got them all right. It's very possible I got them all right. Because they all fit and they all look normal, unlike this diagram here. So, yeah, anyway, a couple of other parts here. We've got, looks like taillights, L29 and L30. Going to go on the back here, here and here. So let's find those. Off of our L tree, what's this one? That's A. Okay. L. L29 and 30. It's 32, it's 29 and 30. Now they look like the same part, but don't know. That's 29. We're going to do 30 over here. Okay. So here's 29. 29 goes on this side. So there. Just like that on that bracket. I'm pretty sure they're the same. Go. Okay, so it's got taillights now. Now we have K41 is our little crank. K41. Where's my K tree? I saw my K tree. K41 is our little engine crank. Maybe it's not an engine crank. Definitely some kind of a crank bar. We just have to clean up our ugly nubs. Might be tempted, like I was a long time ago, to go and paint all these things individually before you put them on. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because when you start doing some weathering on this thing, all that extra detail painting you do kind of gets washed away a little bit in all the mud and rust effects, mud and dust and everything that gets on them. Okay, that's on. Taillight's on. We've got our axe or hatchet, and then a spare, looks like a spade, and that is K44 and K28. Here's 44, our little axe, and 28, a little spade here. Again, there's photo etch pieces of this to replace our little piece that the axe goes into. Once again, I don't think it adds anything. And so I don't think it's necessary to put it on there. This guy goes up here like that. And then our little spade which looks pretty good. He's gonna go here. That. Okay, don't be like me and put your finger on wet glue. Okay, there you go. So that's that. Now we need off of our A tree again, some more latches and hatches and stuff like that. It's K, we want A. A30. Is this A? Yes. A30. And we need 32. It's 33, 14, 31, 32. 32's been used, which means I got to get it off the other sprue. There's 2 A sprues, by the way. Okay, so here's our other 30, because we need that. And then we need 32. A30s are going to go here and here. So this one, let's put some thicker glue on this guy. He's going to go here. Just like that. And this one goes here like that. that. And then this one goes here. Okay, we have an extra spot here. We're going to get L33. This little round guy here. Now L33 there's a little notch here that's supposed to line up with that, and it actually sits up above. It's raised a little bit. So let's just make sure. Clean that nice. It almost looks like some kind of a breather. If I didn't know better, I'd say it's a breather cap. Getting it lined up in its proper orientation is going to be a little bit challenging, especially when I do that with it. And totally glued in its not correct spot. Let's see if I can turn it till it slots in. There we go. There we go. So that's in. And then we've got, looks like one final pry bar here. K21 needs to go along the side here. K21. That's 23, 21, this long guy. Okay, and this guy goes this direction and goes in up here. In there. Oops. Let's just do that. And that. So he kind of wants to stay once he gets locked in. There. Just like that. There we go. And that's the last bit on the top. Okay. So obviously I have to do those still. I'm going to check on something real quick here. That's what I thought. I got to get going. Okay. Which means this is where I'm going to leave it for tonight. And yeah, we will continue this next time. So what I'm going to do is I will put on these other braces along here. I'll put them all on this side. I'll get that all done and taken care of, and then we'll move on to the next step, which looks like we're going to be dealing with our little spare rack, and that's next. That'll be the next little point, and then I'll flip the page and just see, and we'll get a little preview of what's next, eh? More parts on the upper hull. More parts on the upper hull. So that will be upper hull part 2. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to end it here, guys, for today. Lots of little bits going on this. Fortunately, not too much photo etch to deal with today. Yeah. Anyway, down below in the description box, you're going to see some links, and those links are going to be links to my Twitch channel, where you could follow me on Twitch, and you could watch me live, and you could actually talk to me live while I'm actually doing this, if you should so choose. Also, there's a link to my Instagram. On my Instagram, you will find still pictures of everything that I've built in the past. After I finished building a kit, I take a few pictures of it and I upload it to my Instagram. You can follow me on there too if you feel like. And again, if you feel like it, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I know something like 83% of you guys who watch me have not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. Help me out, eh? Anyway, again, that's where we're leaving it for today. And we will continue next time. And I guess, yeah, I will see you all in the next one.